and blessings, you guys. I wanted to bring you guys a new topic. I think it's appropriate to kind of just go with the flow of the topic of today. I have some interesting things to talk about as far as the overall state of what is going on. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the channel and watching along and seeing what is going on, how the process is developing, and where are we currently at. Some of you are probably a little confused exactly what this channel is about, or what is it meant to be, or what is it to basically what the channel's about. It's meant for a spiritual conversation. It's meant to give you it's meant to have an understanding of certain concepts. Think of it like a coaching perspective, where you're basically going through certain states of consciousness that are trying to relate with where you're at in space. Where you're space and time, or where you're at in your experiences. So, and I will definitely reiterate that a lot in my talks. I think that's one of the biggest things. If I had one of my biggest motifs, in movement we call it motif. We talk about what is repetitive, what is something that seems ongoing, and it's definitely the word experience. I think experience is a valuable key thing to our life, because when we see where we at in time, how we're going about our everyday experiences, they matter a lot to us. So I wanted to introduce you guys to a concept, because I know I've been on the topic of spirituality a lot, and what does it exactly mean? If you listen to a lot of different talks out there, you're definitely going to see that people have very unique and very creative perspectives on spirituality. They also have they have a lot of spiritual outlooks in life and what it means. And if I don't know if you guys, some of you know, well, majority, a lot of people do know, but some people don't know. But astrology is a type of spiritual practice. This channel is not what that's about here. I think it's meant to kind of introduce a different type of knowledge. I think it's meant to introduce you guys a little bit of different types of concepts, because I think it's important to know what exactly this type of spirituality is and how it relates and how it resonates with you guys. I believe in a new moon, like new moon spirituality, a type of working with a type of inner consciousness with this like new moon celebration, new moon spirituality. Some of you, I mean the word God. Some people use the word God. I use the word God as well. So it's all. We think about names as well, like what people call what do they see something outside of them, and that relates. Some people call it the divine. Some people call it the universe, oneness. I am not a Buddhist, so I cannot give you guys any stuff with that stuff. So I don't resonate with. It's only with respect I can give for that. But if you guys listen to my other previous talks, I talked about ethnocentrism. So that's kind of something I dismantle. So when people believe in one particular area, then it only relates to that one area. So or it's superior to one area than anything else, which I don't believe in. So ethnocentrism is about finding, it's almost like a sense of like, I believe when you dismantle ethnocentrism, which talk is not about that, but once you dismantle that, I do believe there's a sense of justice for the universe to open up for people. Because what it does, it allows a sense of balance. It allows, which I'm actually going to get into right now, the talk, is that it does allow for openness. It allows for the middle, the center thing of the world, like the core of the world, to find its harmony, to find its balance, to find its sense of its level of justice to what it deserves. And that's where I'm going to introduce this concept. It's called liminal space, liminal spirituality. So there's a lot of different concepts to this idea and this concept. It literally means to be in a state of being in between. So you're in a state of being in between. You're in a state of being in a threshold, where the threshold is it's meant to move you in a state where you're moving from point A to point B. So what that means is that many of us are in a state of consciousness. You know, you can even understand even psychology, for instance. But in a state of consciousness is from A to B. When we're moving from one stage to the next, we often don't realize that we are in a state where it's moving us in a direction that we think, we have total control over all our circumstances. We have control over ourselves. That is true. That is a true philosophical claim, that we do have control over ourselves. But the thing about it is that we don't have control over circumstances. But sometimes liminal spirituality, what it does, it's meant to bring that space and time from where you're at to put you in another stage, in a different state of mind, or just transitional stage, to help you get to what you want to get to. But oftentimes, there's that middle ground where certain things have to happen. So if you're in a state of A, like point A, and you make a dip and you're left there for a bit, there's a reason. You know, liminal spirituality is meant to put you in a middle ground where you have to wait, because when you're in the waiting stage, in that waiting part of it, you're moving yourself in the direction where you move into the next stage. You know, it's almost like manifestation for some people. Like most people believe that manifesting what you... Now, here's the thing about this. It's very plausible to really even bring this up, because you know, a lot of people that make statements out there, and they have channels about the same context, the same concept about, you know, the spirituality, consciousness. Some people go into the chakra stuff. That's a different type of knowledge that people want to get into. So the thing about it is that when we believe that some of those folks out there that say, I manifested a car, for instance. I mean, manifestation is part of the process, but when you hear things like that, it's difficult sometimes, just because it's like really hard to kind of believe it, to see it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like I said, it is plausible, but it's the same concept of those that do make those statements. They also make the statement that they never went to college, or they never invested in the time, or they never invested the resources or the efforts to do that stuff because they didn't need to. They knew that they didn't have to. Or they just didn't want to just because they felt that there was no need for it. There's a level of like, there's a level of yes you can, but at the same time, what they're teaching often might be, there might be a sense of invalidation, if that makes sense. So that's the thing about it, is that there's a sense of invalidation. Like, you guys know my story. Like, I told you guys, I went to college. You know, I have 2 degrees, and I study a lot of different topics in college. One of my favorite topics I did study was philosophy, and I studied literature. I studied just a host of different types of topics. So I've done a lot of research. This is all part of my research, in the context of, spirituality, in the context of, and now when you get those two things mixed up, religion and spirituality, then that's a different topic. But so yeah, I mean, all of it is all relatable. A lot of this is relatable, and what liminal spirituality is meant for is to put you in a state of being where it's your consciousness is transitioning to one stage to the next. Sometimes we often want a certain type of emotion. We often think too much of the physical realm of things. We think too much of like, well, I want to get to point. I want this car, for instance. I mean, cars are nice. Yes, they are. They get you from point A to point B. So, but sometimes even emotion. Sometimes we're waiting on an emotion. We're waiting on a particular manifestation of an emotion. I mean, it's in the physical body. But I guess what I meant earlier was not the material, but then the physical part. The physical part. Like, we think about our body, like the kinesthetic awareness of our body. What does it mean to want a certain emotion? To go and to dive deeper into an emotion, to really invest ourselves into something that we truly want. We want to manifest that. We want to manifest the emotion because, most of my talks and most of everything that I even in my writing, and even in my experiences and a lot of the things that I go out and I experience through movement and through art and just through going into deep places, there's an emotional aspect of it, like a very emotional aspect. And sometimes I wait on that emotion. I wait on that manifestation because it's rewarding. So that's what liminal space is about. It's meant to put you in a state of in between, so that when we move into the next stage, we feel our sense of what we wanted. Now, that is consciousness, though. That is a different type of consciousness. And sometimes we have to wait. And even in the process, as we wait, we feel the reward. We feel like we did something. We feel as if we made it through the next stage. So, that being said, hopefully this is just some coaching for you guys as well, one-on-one. And if you guys enjoyed this channel, remember to subscribe. Remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting more videos out there like this. And if you like the visualizations, I know some of my talks have probably mentioned about like visualizations and like sort of like visual depictions. If you guys like that, I'll definitely bring some more. I want to be able to relate with you guys for sure. So I think it's unique. You know, it's very unique that we all find something that's different. You know, something that's different and something more, like, you know, like I said, something within a threshold of a transitional state. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys on the next one. Remember to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. See ya.